Hey everybody, I'm going to chat today about the guilt trap. And what I mean by that is that feeling of guilt that can be so paralyzing that I guess all of us have felt at some point or another. I don't think I've ever come across anybody who's never felt guilt. And I've really struggled with guilt in my life. And it's taken me all of my 40 years to get to a place of realizing that some of the guilt I've carried was ill-fitting, partly because sometimes it wasn't actually my guilt to carry. Being very empathic, being hypersensitive, I found it very easy to absorb other people's stuff as if it's my own, and I've had a lot of life of receiving other people's projections of their unhappiness. But instead of having a healthy boundary, which I never didn't have any boundaries, to be honest, I would absorb their stuff as if it was somehow my fault. And I've done a lot of deep work on myself and soul searching as to why I would just take other people's stuff as if it's my fault, without even questioning. Maybe it's not. Or maybe they're responsible for their stuff, or maybe I need to take ownership if I've said or done something that's offended someone else. And I've resisted that too. But once I learned that when I recognise I might have done something to hurt another person, which I have many a time, and I own it and I acknowledge it and I look at myself as to what part I've played, thereafter I kind of free myself of guilt. Because guilt, if you think about what it is, it's like we feel we've done something wrong, or we've broken our own rules, our own morals, our own values. And that's a really hard one, because it's almost like chasing your tail. How do I get away from this feeling? Well, it's acknowledging your humanness. We're all flawed in many ways, me included, but that's okay. Being perfectly imperfect. But when we own something and we can apologise to somebody if we've hurt them, it doesn't matter really if they accept that or not, because we're not responsible for that. That's theirs. They might accept it. They might not. But if you've done your bit, then you don't have to carry guilt forever for something years ago. Somebody once said to me, somebody very important to me, that guilt is such a senseless thing to carry. It serves no purpose. It does not change the situation, and it doesn't make it better. And that's really true. How much of our energy do we give away to carrying guilt? And guilt is usually about something in the past. It's something we can't change, but we can make amends with ourselves, within ourselves, maybe even to the person, knowing that they may not receive that, but they might. But it's really about making amends with ourselves and knowing that we are worthy of not carrying the burden of guilt forever. Guilt is an opportunity to look at what moral value of our own that we feel we have broken and really identify the truth of whether we have or not. Whether it's somebody else's stuff that they're telling us, we're this, we're that, we've done this and that, actually that might be theirs. It doesn't have to define you. People are entitled to their opinions of you, but they don't have to be your opinions. And then maybe sometimes we have to own our stuff, but it's an opportunity for change, to grow. Okay, what won't I ever do again? What mistake was that I can learn from? And knowing that we're fallible, cutting yourself some slack, self-compassion. Guilt just degenerates. It serves no purpose. It changes nothing. But guilt shows us that maybe there's something we need to look at. Or maybe there's something we need to let go of.